Hello there, yogis and yoginis. Today I am going to discuss something that everyone sooner or later asks themselves, and that is, what is my life's purpose? And furthermore, what's standing in my way from fulfilling my life's purpose? There's a lot of perspectives out there about how to determine your life's purpose. So in this video, I'm going to do two things. I'm going to help you discover your life's purpose from the perspective of yoga wisdom, and then I'm going to use the Karmic Warrior Oracle to do a general reading to determine what's standing in your way from fulfilling your purpose, so stay tuned. Hi there, I'm Lisa Engles Witter. I'm a psycho-spiritual counselor, I'm a meditation teacher, and I'm the creator of the Karmic Warrior Oracle deck. So welcome to my channel where I help spiritual seekers just like you to harness the ancient wisdom of yoga to live an extraordinary life. And today we are going to focus on your life's purpose from the perspective of yoga wisdom. And we're going to look at what's keeping you from stepping fully into your purpose by getting some insight from the Karmic Warrior Oracle deck. Now, just to let you know, the Karmic Warrior Oracle is designed, it's something that I designed, I created it, and I designed it to guide you towards a freer, more fulfilling life by harnessing the ancient law of karma. There are 35 cards in this oracle, so each one of the cards represents one of 4 key principles in clearing the karmic patterns that keep you stuck and repeating the same lessons in life and not fulfilling your life's purpose. Before we dive in, please do be sure to subscribe to my channel because I release new videos like this and new readings like this regularly. And my videos are always about how to live a freer, fuller life by using the time-proven principles and practices of yoga wisdom. And the last thing before we get started is, if you aren't familiar with the law of karma, please do be sure to download my free ebook called Karma Demystified, where you'll learn what the law of karma is, how karma is created, and how to clear your karma. All of the insight and guidance that we receive from the Karmic Warrior Oracle deck is based on the law of karma. So this free ebook is going to give you a really quick, what I call a crash course, so that you can get the most out of these videos and out of the insight that we get from the Karmic Warrior Oracle. Hello, friends. So I wanted to this week focus on our life's purpose. And the reason why this came up for me and why I decided this is what I needed to do for a video and a reading this week is because over the past couple weeks, many of you know, I've been offering Karmic Warrior Oracle readings at a discounted price for the month of May. So if you are watching this in the month of May, there are just a couple of spots open. You can click the link or you'll find the link in the description below on how to sign up for one of those readings. But as I've been doing these readings, one thing has been coming up quite a bit. And that is that people are coming to me to really investigate, what is my life's purpose? Everybody wants to know the answer to this question, but especially people like you and me, people who are spiritual seekers. When you're on this path of awakening, you are here because you're wanting to step more fully into your life's purpose. And what I find is that there is so much stuff. There's a plethora of books and workshops and courses that you can take on how to find your life's purpose. And what I love about yoga wisdom is that yoga wisdom tells you straight out what your life's purpose is. It doesn't make you guess what your life's purpose is. It doesn't tell you go here, go there. It doesn't tell you go within and, meditate a lot or journal every day, look at like what's the common theme from everything that's happened in your life and take that, and that's probably something to do with your life's purpose. No, yoga wisdom makes it so much simpler than that. And I really wanted to bring this forth and then do a reading with the oracle just to give you some clarity in moving forward into your life's purpose. So here it is. I'm going to make it really, really easy. I'm not even going to draw it out for you, and make you wait. Here's the thing. Yoga wisdom tells us that every single person has the same life purpose. There's not a different purpose for, John and Mary and Joe and Bob and, and Lisa and Tim. We all have the same life purpose. You want to know what it is? I know you do, because you clicked on this video and you're watching this video. So here it is. I'm going to tell you what it is, and then we'll unpack it. Your life purpose, my life purpose, is super simple. It is just to be happy. That's it, guys and gals, yogis and yoginis. Your life purpose is to be happy. Now, of course, it's a little more complicated than that, because the type of happiness that the Indian scriptures talk about isn't the type of happiness that can be fulfilled by finding the perfect job or the perfect relationship or having more money. That your life's purpose cannot be fulfilled by, doing whatever it is that you think you need to do in order to be happy. And this is the thing. We are all seeking happiness. Even the Buddha said that, and was part of one of his main teachings, right? Is that we all want to be free from suffering, and we all want to find happiness, and therefore that is our life's purpose. How do we do that? Well, it's also given to us in the scriptures, in the yogic scriptures, how we do that. How we do that is we awaken to our true nature. It's called moksha, awakening, liberation. We need to be liberated in order to see and to experience the truth of who we are. And here's how happiness works when we're looking at it from the perspective of yoga wisdom. We're seeking, and our life's purpose is to be able to recognize what already exists in you, as you, and through you, that is experienced as contentment, joy, and happiness, freedom and fulfillment, liberation. It's something that you already have. Now, this feels like a paradox when you're doing practices that are always geared towards seeking and grasping, which most of us are. Most of us on the spiritual path are still doing spiritual practices that are geared towards getting something or getting rid of something. This is, as many of you know, the problem that I have with the law of attraction, and why I feel so passionate about teaching these yogic principles and practices, because if we look at the law of karma, it really lays it out for us how to find happiness. So everybody's using the law of attraction to find happiness and to fulfill their life purpose, when in fact we need to maybe step away from or step back from the law of attraction, which, number one, isn't even a law. Number two, isn't even written in the scriptures. It's a sort of a made up thing, marketing ploy, if I'm totally honest about it. And let's look at a doctrine that's been around for thousands of years, which is the law of karma. And what this law of karma tells us is, and the scriptures, the law of karma doesn't say anything about your life's purpose. It says it implicitly and indirectly, and that is that, again, when you awaken to the truth of who you are, something quite incredible happens. And that is that you're seeking to fulfill, and we'll say in this case, your life's purpose no longer becomes about filling what feels like an inescapable void. Like, I need to find my life purpose, because if I don't fulfill and live my life purpose, my life feels meaningless. That is just a set of constructs, a set of ideas and beliefs that you have that aren't true, by the way. As Adyashanti says, no belief is true. The truth is that no belief is true. All beliefs, all thoughts, all ideas are just tools. They're not truths. So getting back to our purpose, we each have the exact same life purpose, which is to discover happiness. And we discover happiness that is independent of our life's circumstances. That is the happiness that we're all looking for. We're all looking for an unshakable happiness, a happiness that is independent of the experiences that you're having in your life, that's independent of the situation that you find yourself in, that's independent of any circumstance that you may find yourself in. That is our life's purpose, to discover that for ourselves, right? And we do that by liberating ourselves from our ideas and beliefs of who we think we are and how we think life should be. And there are certain yogic principles and practices for that. There are also certain modern yogic principles and practices for doing that as well. But we also need to be doing practices that help us to awaken to our true nature. Some might call these transcendental types of practices, but in classical Tantra, which is really where I'm informed from and where I'm coming from when I'm making these videos, tells us, okay, yes, transcending your ego and transcending all of this illusion is great, and we all need to do that, but that's part of the picture. That's half of the formula. That's not the full picture. That's not the full formula. That's not the full path. We actually have to transcend, and then we have to integrate and bring that back into our embodied way of living, so that finding happiness is not something that is out there. And fulfilling our purpose of happiness is never going to come by subtracting anything or adding anything to our lives, because as you dig deeper into the teachings and into your practice, you realize nothing actually needs to be subtracted or added in order for me to be always connected to an unshakable happiness. All right? So that is your purpose. That is my purpose in life. Our life purpose is to discover happiness that's independent of our outer circumstances. And it might sound lofty, and if you've been someone who's been on the spiritual path and you've been doing that, trying to do that using things like law of attraction, you need to watch some of my other videos about law of attraction, about belief, and all of those types of things, because most, I would say many people have been led astray either by trying to practice things like law of attraction, or also spiritual seekers have been led astray by trying to transcend everything and leave everything behind and find happiness that way. So I'm suggesting that neither one of those two are going to get you to your life's purpose, which is to find happiness independent of your outer circumstances. But there might be something blocking you from discovering this type of happiness, this type of joy and contentment and freedom, this type of liberation. And that is where we are now going to turn to the Karmic Warrior Oracle, and we are going to do a general reading now to look at what it is that might be blocking you from discovering your life's purpose, right? Because if you haven't found it yet, if you're not grounded in this everlasting joy, this experience of happiness, no matter what's happening in your life, then you still have work to do. And most of us are in that place. And so we'll turn to the oracle now for some insight, for some guidance. All right, so let's go ahead and do that. All right, so like I said, we're going to be using the Karmic Warrior Oracle deck. This is a deck of 35 cards, and each of the cards represents one of 4 suits that are that relate to a certain principle of the law of karma and clearing your karma. So let's go ahead and do this reading. Again, this is a general reading. If you decide that you want to take this further, I do offer one-on-one readings. You can find the link below. And again, for the month of May, there's just a few days left in the month of May. I am offering these readings for half off. So go ahead and check that out if you're interested. So I'm always working with guides as I do my oracle readings. And so I invite you to just close your eyes right now and get centered in your heart. And we're here today because we're wanting to know what is keeping us or what is blocking us from stepping into our life's purpose. So I invite you to hold that intention clearly in your heart as I shuffle the deck, doing a general reading, asking the oracle, what is it that's standing in the way, that's blocking us from truly stepping into our life's purpose? All right, here we go. So here's the card we got, and the card is Awaken. Hope you can see that. Got it? It is Awaken. Oh, wow, you guys, this is a very, very good one. It's a really important one. Okay, so let me just describe what the Awaken Suit is about. The Awaken Suit, first of all, when we're talking about the law of karma, what you need to know is that all karma, just to make this really easy for you, all karma is fundamentally created, and we can say all suffering is fundamentally created because of a misunderstanding of who you really are, what we would call a case of mistaken identity. So you might be someone who says, yeah, Lisa, I already know I am a being of light. I'm one with God. Great. I'm glad that you know that conceptually. But do you know that as a felt experience? And I can say for myself as a spiritual seeker and someone who's been on the path for a very long time, for most of the time on my path, I've been able to parrot those words that I've read in a book, that I've heard from teachers, that I've heard in workshops and seminars that I've gone to. And I didn't realize that that I was still at a level of just understanding this as a concept versus a felt experience. And it wasn't until I really committed and dedicated myself to the practices, the yogic practices, that I got it. Oh my gosh, I understood who I really was. So this suit of awakening is all about awakening to your true nature as awareness. Okay? And you don't need to know what that means right now. If that doesn't make sense to you, that's completely fine. I have a bunch of videos and meditations that you can listen to help you begin to recognize the truth of who you are. And awakening practices, I will tell you this, I always like to make sure that you have practices. Okay, it doesn't do me, one thing about readings is, and these types of videos is, what good are they if they don't tell you how to do the thing? So you need to be doing awakening practices. Awakening practices the best type of awakening practice you can be doing is self-inquiry. Contemplative practices that help you to understand your true nature by asking the question, who am I? All right? So, with that being said, you understand Awaken. I haven't even gotten to what the message is on the card. What is it that's blocking you? All right? Let me tell you. What is blocking you, and all of us, let's see if you can see that. Can you see that? Yeah. Right on. Spiritual bypassing. This is so important, especially for a lot of us that are on places like YouTube, searching through all of the videos around spirituality and awakening and all of that type of stuff. There are so many, I hate to say it, false gurus out there with blingy bling blings and millions and zillions of followers who have fancy, camera setups, who are false gurus. You need to know that. So spiritual bypassing, I'm going to read what the card says and then we'll unpack it for just a couple of minutes and we'll wrap it up here. So spiritual bypassing is a term coined by John Wellwood, and it is the tendency to use spiritual ideas and practices to sidestep or avoid facing unresolved emotional issues, psychological wounds, and unfinished developmental tasks. You are being reminded to maintain vigilance and integrity in this project of spiritual awakening. And remember that spiritual awakening is what your life's purpose is. Just that's saying it in a different way, because when you are fully awakened, you will be living your life's purpose, which is to experience happiness, abiding happiness. All right? So they go together, right? Be cautious about using practices that employ magical thinking, visualizing, imagining, and affirming positive outcomes to the exclusion of rolling up your sleeves and attending to those places within you that need to be healed. So this is again the general reading. So take what really resonates with you right now. Do you resonate with this? And if you're like, that doesn't apply to me, dig a little deeper and ask, how might this apply to me? So here's the thing is, I want to point this out. Be cautious of using practices that employ magical thinking. What is magical thinking? Magical thinking is my thoughts create my reality. I know that's going to really upset a lot of people when I say that, because the law of attraction is such a big thing out there. So I'm going against what the law of attraction is saying, and it's a super popular, new age, spiritual type of practice. So magical thinking, it's like when you're a kid and you think, something tragic happens and you think, here's a good example. Magical thinking might be you're a kid and something tragic happens to your brother or sister, and just before that tragic thing happened, you thought to yourself, I hate her. I wish that I didn't have her as a sister. And then she breaks her arm and has to go to the hospital, and you think, oh my God, I did that. I thought that I wanted her to be gone, and now she's in the hospital. And so that's what magical thinking is. So law of attraction is really no different than magical thinking, that your thoughts create your reality. I have whole videos on this. So please do watch my video. I'll put the link below on my struggle, 30 years of struggle using the law of attraction, and exactly really unpacking the fallacies, the logic fallacies of the law of attraction. So we want to be careful about magical thinking that, my thoughts are creating my reality. That is not going to get you to our end goal of happiness, okay? Imagining affirming positive outcomes. So the idea of changing our beliefs is really not going to get us anywhere. In yogic wisdom, we're encouraged to move beyond the mind, move beyond the thinking mind, because what the thinking mind does is it keeps us caught in our beliefs and our ideas. It keeps us caught in a limited way of experiencing reality. So in this project of fulfilling your life's purpose, to discover happiness through awakening to your true nature, that is your life's purpose. Every yogic text has said that for thousands of years, and many masters have lived that out. So in order to fulfill that, we need to move beyond our beliefs. We need to recognize that, again, as I said earlier, thoughts are tools, not truths. The more we change our beliefs and we have these positive affirmations of, I'm happy and fulfilled as I am, that's just a thought. That's just a belief. That is not experiential reality. All right. So again, sort of what we're looking for are practices that give us direct experience. And none of the law of attraction practices do that. None of the law of attraction practices work on direct experience. And when I say direct experience, what do I mean direct experience? Direct experience is exactly that. It is questioning the true nature of reality and the truth of who you are based on your direct experience. We are so clouded with thoughts and stories and beliefs that even if we up level our beliefs, it's just another belief, it's just another story. It's not going to break us free from our mind. So we need to be free from our mind. So that is our message for today. So no spiritual bypassing. There we go. There's the spiritual bypassing. That is the guidance from the oracle. This is it is coming from the suit of awakening to our true nature. It's hard to awaken to our true nature if we are doing spiritual bypassing. It is hard to find and to abide in lasting happiness if we're doing spiritual bypassing. So that is your message for the week. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it helps you out. I hope it gives you maybe a little bit of a different perspective, things to think about. Please do leave a comment below. Let me know your thoughts and your questions as well. I do read all of the comments. We'll be back again next time or next week for another video just like this one. And I hope you do join me. Remember to subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Until then, take care and namaste.